Maybe you're just getting started on your drumming journey, or perhaps you're an intermediate or even an advanced drummer and you're wondering, should I be taking drum lessons? After all, private music lessons can be expensive, and you might be worried that all your money will go down the drain and you'll leave feeling overwhelmed and defeated with nothing to show for it. As someone who has both given as well as taken many drum lessons over the years, I believe anyone can benefit from private lessons no matter what stage of your music career you're in. And in today's video, I want to talk about why you should hire a private teacher, and I'll share with you some ways in which you can get the most out of your lessons. Let's go. The first reason you should take private lessons is for accountability. Practicing and improving can often feel like a lonely endeavor. Most practice involves sitting alone in a room while you work on exercises or play along to pre-recorded tracks. And perhaps you're just starting out and you might not even be in a band yet. It might be difficult to gauge your level of improvement. Even if you are in a band, that's not really an appropriate place to be practicing, and having to spend your own money and show up every week will give you a great reason to step up in the practice room. A great teacher will hold you accountable and provide adequate exercises and songs to show how much time you've put in each week. Another reason you should take private lessons is to get a unique perspective. It's easy to get stuck in a rut as a drummer. You might be practicing the same things over and over again, or playing with a band that plays only one style of music. Working with a private teacher can help expand what is possible for you on the drums. We all have unique drumming journeys, and spending consistent time with someone who's put a lot of time into their drumming can help you dive deeper into the material. You might be thinking that hiring a private teacher is just for beginning or intermediate drummers, but the truth is that many of the greats studied with someone even after they became successful. One of the greatest examples of this is Freddie Gruber, master teacher to the stars, who would go on to teach a veritable who's who of drumming, including Dave Weckl, Neil Peart, Peter Erskine, Steve Smith, and Vinnie Colaiuta, to name just a few. Now, all these drummers I just listed were already incredibly successful, but drumming is a lifelong learning endeavor. Sometimes you're refining your technique, sometimes you're getting new musical ideas, and sometimes you're just talking about life, because life informs the creative process, and ultimately this is a creative act. And these drummers, even though they were incredibly successful, still wanted to get an outside perspective so that they could enhance their drumming. One of my favorite reasons for hiring a private teacher is focus. When I was growing up and learning drumming back in the 90s, it was a lot easier to focus because I didn't have distractions such as social media, the internet, smartphones. So it was just you in a practice room, and you could practice to your heart's content with little to no distraction. But nowadays, there's just so much distraction. There's so much noise. It makes it really hard to focus. A great teacher can help you focus on your specific goals and ambitions, and you will shorten your learning curve by cutting out all the noise. Now, depending on where you live, private teachers can be expensive, and you might be wondering if it's worth the investment. And of course, I believe it is totally worth the investment. But there are some things to keep in mind if you're going to maximize the experience. Number one would be come prepared. I can't tell you how many times students have showed up to lessons unprepared, and it really slows down the learning process. If you're going to invest your hard-earned money into your drumming, you want to make sure that you're practicing each week and that you come prepared for each lesson so that you can take advantage of it and get new material to work on for the following lesson. Number two would be ask questions. Asking questions shows the teacher that you are engaged in the process and will help create a back and forth that will allow for more information to be shared. It shows that you're interested, and the teacher is going to feed off that energy, and you're going to find your lessons are going to be a lot more satisfying. Number three would be to ask for constructive feedback. And This is the most important because it can be easy to just stay silent in the lesson and just allow the teacher to just tell you things. But it's really important that you ask for feedback so that you can improve. And don't take it personally because ultimately that's why you're there. If the cost is too high for you, I suggest taking a lesson every once in a while. So say once a month or once every couple of months. This allows you to spread out the time in between lessons so that you can really work on the material and dive deep. You'd be surprised how much you can learn in one lesson, even just a 30-minute lesson. You can often have a lot to work on, and if you work on that stuff really hard for the next lesson, I think you'll benefit from it. Now remember, there are lots of things to ask about, not just technique and not just musical ideas. There's a lot of things outside of music that is worth asking. Things like how to market yourself online, how to be a professional, and also teaching advice. And that's also what I try to provide in this channel. So if you like these kinds of topics, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Another thing that you might not realize is that you can take lessons with other musicians, not just drummers. I've taken many lessons over the years with bass players, piano players, guitar players, and I've gotten so much out of those lessons because those musicians can provide a different type of perspective. We tend to have one perspective behind the drums. A lot of times we don't necessarily understand what it's like to be on the other side of your playing. So having the bass player tell you what they're hoping to hear from your drumming, or a piano player can give you different ideas and help you play more musically. Now you might be wondering, how do I know if I have a good teacher? What are some things to look for? And I would say the main thing is to focus on finding somebody who is going to be a giving person and somebody who wants the best for you. And you're going to know pretty quickly whether it's a good match or not. So don't be afraid to pivot. The lesson should be fun and you should feel inspired and motivated after your lesson to go out there and play more. Many of the lessons I had transcended music and revolved around life lessons, which were some of my favorite lessons to be a part of. Remember, teachers might be able to play really well, but that doesn't necessarily mean they can teach. Teaching has its own unique skill set. You need to be a great communicator, and you need to be able to take complex things and break them down into simple things so that you can learn. You also need to be able to take somebody's goals and ambitions and create a plan for how they're going to achieve that. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Where are you at in your drumming journey? Are you considering hiring a private teacher? Also, don't forget to download my free drum set tuning guide. This is going to show you all my best tips and tricks for achieving great sounding drums. These are the tuning techniques I still use to this day, and I think you're going to find it very useful. Use the link in the description to download my free PDF guide today, and as always, thanks for watching. Make sure to hit the like button if you got something out of this video, and I'll see you on another one real soon.